Teaching Center.
Greetings, everyone, and happy 2021. It's been a little while. It's been a minute, so I thought it'd be time to come back and do another video related to using technology with teaching, because I've gotten a lot of requests about how, if I don't want to just use the Zoom link for my recording because that expires after 180 days, I actually want to download the mp4 of a Zoom recording. How do I make that available for students, since it's just downloaded as an mp4, and if I stick it in something like OneDrive or a shared Dropbox folder, they'd have to download it themselves to watch it, or they could try and watch it via the shared folder, but there's no streaming input there, so it can be a clunky way to view it with stops and starts and stuff. So how do I make this video available for them to stream if I've done it on Zoom, but want to download it as an MP4 and use that MP4 moving forward? And why might I want to do that? Well, again, the Zoom link expires after 180 days. So if I'm redoing this course and I've given a lecture and I've respected the ethics of those who were involved in the lecture and they were okay with it being recorded, or I was just recording a lecture without an audience that I wanted to reuse in subsequent runs of the course, if I don't download it as MP4, that recording will disappear after 180 days, and it won't be available to students moving forward in any way, shape, or form. So what we're going to show you now is how to download a video, save it so that it exists in perpetuity, and how to make that video available in a streaming format for students in a given course via your Panopto account. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start sharing my screen. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go immediately to my Zoom site, my jh.zoom.us, and you may have another login for your Zoom site, but I'm going to sign in. And what this does, as you may recall, is it keeps a record of all recordings up to the point that they're automatically deleted from Zoom after 180 days. So you can see I have 3 different sessions that I've recorded here that are still available, and the auto delete time is given. The most recent one, I still have 146 days left. The one I did earliest, I still have 28 days left. So I'm thinking I don't want to re-record this demo on cloud recording unless things change. I'd like to be able to use this in the future, and it only has 28 days left to exist on Zoom. So if I gave out the Zoom linking passcode for this, people could view it for another 28 days, but then we're done with that and it wouldn't exist. So I want to download this and make it available to folks moving forward. So I click on that link and I get this recording screen. And the first thing I could do is download 3 files. 3 files were created when I recorded this session. The video itself, which is labeled as the shared screen with speaker view, an audio only version, which I may also want to download and make available for students, if they want to listen. They want to listen to it like in the car or when they're exercising or something, but they don't want the video component. And then the transcript, which is generated by Zoom, which is the text, converts the voice to text. So that's really useful tool too. So you may want to download all 3 of these things at once and make the transcript available in your online library as well, and possibly the audio file for students. But what I'm going to do now is, just for space issues and times, I'm just going to download the video and show you how to make that available to your students in streaming format. Okay, so I'm going to click, highlight this row, click on this arrow here, which will download it, and it's going to download it. My default is to my downloads folder, so I'm going to navigate to this, and I always have to sort these by date added because the name given to this mp4 is not descriptive. So what I'm going to do, I could keep it in my downloads folder and upload it to my Panopto folder, which I'll show you how to do in a moment, but just so that I can find it later and it has a name that's descriptive, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this to my course folder. In this case, I'm just going to use my desktop because this doesn't correspond to an actual course. But if you had a course folder on your computer, you might create a subfolder for mp4 recordings and you could save this there. I'm going to paste it, but I'm going to immediately change the title to John Video on Recording in Zoom so that it's more descriptive, because that default title given, I won't know what I'm dealing with when I come back a day later. So I'm going to give this something more descriptive. All right, so this thing is on your computer. It's saved for perpetuity, but how are you going to make it available to your students? Well, one way to do this is to upload this to your course's Panopto folder, and then I'll show you how to use that to create a link that students can access to stream the video from the Panopto folder. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log into my Panopto account. And if you're doing this through Hopkins, this is the URL here, and I'll post this above as well so you can see that. And now to sign into Panopto, there's a couple different options. I'm signed into Panopto, but I'm going to do it through the JHU prod shibboleth, and that'll allow me to use my JHead ID to log into my Panopto account. See, I open this and I've got my overview of everything that is stored on my Panopto account, either that I've uploaded or that people have given me access to. And then I'm going to go to my folder here. And so I actually am not teaching any courses this academic year that are .01 or on-campus courses because of the pandemic. All of my on-site courses have been converted to .81 or online. So I actually don't have any folders set up by multimedia for my courses, but I created sort of the same setup by creating where I could customize the folder, something that would look like you would see when you go to your Panopto account. And there's an overall folder, administrative level folder, academic year 20 to 21. It would have subfolders for terms. This would be term 3. And then there'd be a list of folders for each of the courses that have Panopto folder set up, and you can navigate to your course. I just called this McGrady after me, John McGrady, course 1. And right now, this folder is empty. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to toggle up to this Create tab here, click on this. And one of the things I can do coming down on the third click here is Upload Media. Click on that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to upload my video here. So I'm going to go to my desktop here. This is the John video on recording in Zoom. That's what I called it. And it actually is a small video. It's going to upload relatively quickly, but if it were larger, and depending on my internet speed, it might take some more time. And then after it uploads, as with many video hosting services, it's going to have to process as well. So if I click here, you can see it's processing. And so I won't make you sit through this. I'll just come back when it's done, and then we'll move forward from there. All right, now it's done processing, and it can actually be accessed as a full video here. So if I hover over to the right of this video now, if I click on this thing that says Settings and go to Overview, you can see that there's some options you can adjust here if you want. You can disable allowing viewers to post comments, or you can keep that up. You can do some other things here. You can change the time the video becomes available. Right now it's set to be immediately available, but you could change that. But the most important thing in terms of making this available to your students is this row that says viewer link in here. This is the URL, and I'm going to click in here and copy this. This is the URL that, if anybody has this, if they post this in a web browser, it will allow them, it will stream the video for them. So we'll show how that works in a moment, but let me just toggle out of here. I've got this URL. And what I'm going to do now is go to one of my course websites. I have it open in Course Plus. This is an older course, but simply because I don't want to put this into a newer course and then confuse myself and confuse the students. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the online library, and I'm going to create a folder in the online library called Lecture Recordings. I'm going to add that to General. And then I'll create a folder called Lecture 1, which is a subfolder of this lecture recordings. And what I'm going to do is now add a web link. And what I'm going to do is link this URL here. I'm going to select this and put this in the lecture recordings folder. I should edit this. It should be lecture 1, not just lecture. It's going to go in that folder. Unfortunately, because of that strange convention that folders must have unique names across different parent folders, we will change that to the Word one. And the link title here is lecture 1 recording, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and we will do this. And I'm going to link this to my first page here, and we'll do this. And now you can see that this link exists in the online library. It will be linked to my lecture 1 page. Link to my lecture 1 page here. Now students can click on this, and when I click on this, this will open Panopto, and the video will begin streaming.
As opposed to recording to
and there is me on a video featuring me. So John within a video with John. A lot of John to absorb today. But in all seriousness, though, then students can then stream this from that link, and it's still password protected if you put it into your Course Plus site, etc. And these web links can be linked, again, to specific pages, class pages within your Course Plus site. And then if you wanted to, you could also have downloaded, for example, the audio file, which you could put in your online library, and students could download to play on their audio players, and also the transcript file, which we showed, which would give the written transcript, which could be a nice accompaniment for students when watching this video, because the transcript does not go directly with the video, as you can see here. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this gives you some insight in how to make video recordings available for longer and permanently, and keep a permanent copy for yourself. And hopefully this helps with your teaching moving forward. Thanks for watching.